Hey, Pitches, we had a lot of surprises this episode, including a visit from Willie. Can't wait to talk about it. Keep it right here.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ooh, we got lights. I think I sound just as bad as Jenny. Actually like this song. What's up? You are tuned in to AFTERBUZZ Pitch Episode 8, Unstoppable Forces and Immovable Objects. I'm Ashleigh Morghan. Feel free to follow me on all social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Ashleigh Morghan, ASHLEIGHMORGHAN. And I'm here with the lovely...
What's up, guys? It's Jessie here. You can find me online at Athletchick. That's ATHLETCHIC.
Let's hop into this eventful episode.
I know. There's so much going on.
Put my glasses on so I can see your feed.
So much going on.
Oh, okay. So we open with flashbacks from Willie, which I feel like set the episode up like we're definitely going to see Willie this episode. And I feel like we've been asking for the last, 3 episodes, where's Willie?
Right.
Well, our prayers and questions were answered tonight. Willie is back and in action. We also see Mike Lawson talking with Charlie. They're at lunch, and Charlie seems a little forceful about kind of planting the seed that they talk about Mike leaving the Padres. What do you think about that?
It's so tough because he's such a leader on this team. He is he's their leader. I can't imagine the team without him, and it's hard for me because Charlie, I like Charlie, but he just got here and he doesn't know
exactly how I feel.
Yeah, the dynamic of the team. So it's like, I know you need to save money and you need to get rid of this player or trade somebody and get somebody else, but like this is like the foundation of the team, and who knows what's going to happen when he leaves. Yeah,
and I also feel like Charlie doesn't really know a lot about baseball, which we find out. I mean, we kind of knew that from the first episode. He's just kind of moving people around and trying to trade people, and it's all about money, but he's not thinking about like the family aspect and just the team aspect of baseball. Like Mike's been there for 15 years. He's not, he's not just some player you can just throw out and just move somebody in. He has like all this history and all this love for this team. And I felt like Charlie was being very forceful and like, are you sure? Are you happy? Are you sure you're happy here? Are you happy here? And it's kind of like, I get it. Like you kind of want me to go. Like, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely think he's starting to feel that. And just like you said, Charlie, he's a mathematics guy. He's a sabermetrics guy. He's all about the statistics. And, that's become very important in baseball. But I think there's something to be said about the culture of a team and how the clubhouse, gets along. And Mike is such a big part of that.
He is. And I feel like Charlie skips all of that. And he's not, not that he should be present in the clubhouse, but I think if he actually watched their chemistry and what Mike brings to the team, he might not be so quick to push him out of the door, because then he'll see what the aftermath would be once Mike is gone. And then Mike, it's like Mike's put in a hard place because he's like, he knows he's getting old. He knows that he's injured. He knows he has the best interest for the Padres in mind. Like he wants them to win. But at the same time, you want them to win without you, It's It's like you be selfless or selfish.
Right.
And it's like, it's pretty evident that he doesn't want to go. But I mean, when you're being forced, basically, like shoved in your face, it's kind of like, well, what do you do?
And that's just such a hard situation to be in, because it's like you said, first I want to shout out to Zia Paul. I hope I'm saying your name correct, but we've been trying to get her on the live feed. So
Yay, we got you.
Hey guys.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. I'm just going to ask the engineer, can you make it a little bit bigger? Because I can't see. Yeah.
Oh, Charlie clearly knows about baseball.
No, he clearly knows nothing about baseball.
Nothing about baseball. Yes, that's exactly what we've been saying.
Regardless of the team sport, every locker room needs a locker room guy, and Mike is 100%. Especially in baseball, in the clubhouse, and Mike's not. He's also the captain.
Right.
So
it's like you were saying, like it would be so hard to be in this position because you play for this team this team is his family. This is his life.
Like we said before, he doesn't have anybody wafter what's next kind of thing. It's
so
just
this is his family. This is his life. This is all he's known for the last however many years. He's ruined a relationship over this, and he's established a life here, you know, although he doesn't have any support outside of it. And I mean, could you imagine leaving and then watching the team that you were a part of for so long go on without you and possibly win?
But then again, it brings me back to selfish or selfless.
Right.
Like, that's the team that you've spent so much time on, that you've dedicated your life to. The least you want to see is them succeed, whether it's with you or without you. That's kind of like your main goal. You know, you want your team to succeed. If you really honestly do care, you want them to succeed, and you will set them up for success. Right. I feel like that's kind of what this episode was. Mike, like, kind of passing the torch, kind of showing everybody the ropes, showing everybody the history, and setting them up for life after Mike Lawson.
I know.
Okay, let's keep moving on. So we see a lot of frustration with Mike, and just kind of him kind of just bursting out with anger and just lashing out at people, and it's pretty understandable. You know, he's lashing out kind of at Jenny because he's not playing. He's not playing in the game. They're on a rain break. So it's called rain break.
Yeah, rain delay. So they're on a rain delay, and
40-minute rain. It was probably more than 40 minutes.
Yeah, well, it's so surprising because San Diego never has rain delays. I actually was thinking about it. They might have had one this year. I can't remember, but they've had like 17 in the last like ridiculous amount of years. Like, they never have rainouts. So, and this was a pretty big rain, like,
especially for like more than an hour.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes.
It was pretty bad. I mean, when you looked out
down
of Charlie's office, it looked really bad.
And this was kind of, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Okay, let's go back. So we see Mike lashing out, and then we see Charlie. Again, like, it really bothers me that he doesn't have at least a little bit of knowledge of baseball. He thinks that he can just go down and talk to the umpire about, you know, moving the game along as soon as the rain stops, and not worrying about like the safety of the players or how muddy or like how many, if there's like rain puddles or anything. He's just like, I don't care. I want to get the game started in 28 minutes. And it's like, that's not realistic, Charlie.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just go and like, I want this, and this, and this needs to happen.
Right.
Because you want to make money. Again, it's like, what's your best interest, Charlie?
Exactly. And I loved that part. The groundskeeper was being super hard on him because these people take their job very seriously.
Exactly.
Like, they maintain this field so that, you know, that's their job. That's what they do. They know what they're talking about. They have specific types of grass in specific areas of the country, and this grass will make rain come through it a little bit easier, which maybe they don't do in San Diego because
it doesn't rain.
It doesn't ever rain. Yeah. But I loved how Russell stood up to Charlie.
He did.
Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was great because Charlie thinks he can just storm down there and I want this done in 28 minutes like the Yankees do it. And he's like, sorry. I mean, they could have totally different types of grass. I know this is crazy. We're talking about grass, but
it's true.
This is what goes on in baseball.
But not even just that. Russell was like, well, the Yankees are prepared for rain. It never rains in San Diego, so my team's not prepared.
Right.
You know, we have drills, but we're not prepared for rain, let alone a downpour like it was,
I know.
They are prepared for that. So that's going to take a little bit more time than it would for the Yankees, who are used to having rain and then going back out there, getting everything ready. Then I don't know if this is true. I think certain fields are created a certain way too for the rain to. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know how each field is set up, but yeah, I definitely think there are different ways.
To keep the water out.
Yeah, I used to work for a baseball team, and we would bring in certain types of grass from like Kentucky that I know this is crazy, that let the rain move through. That would let the rain move through the grass a little bit easier, so that on rain delays.
It was easier to adjust.
There wouldn't be big puddles in the field, and it just moves through a little bit quicker.
It's in grass.
Yeah, I know.
Grass for all of you that love grass. So then we move on and we see Oscar now is. Oh, Charlie tells Oscar again to keep talking to Mike Lawson, keep planting that seed, and Oscar runs into Mike Lawson's asking him, so. Are you happy here? He's like getting this repetitive question. Are you happy here? Are you happy here? And I feel like that's them planting that seed. So in his mind, he's subconsciously thinking, like,
Yes.
am I happy here? Everything that this whole entire day, him not playing in the game, am I happy here?
Right.
And it's interesting to see him like shifting, because at first, at the beginning of the episode, he's like, no, I want to stay here. But you can kind of see throughout the episode, like it's kind of working, like the seed is growing. He's kind of like, am I happy here?
Well, and that's the thing. So that was an interesting part of the episode, because Oscar was, being really hard on him and saying, maybe it's better if you left, if you were gone.
Right.
But then Al, on the other hand, was like, I need your bat in the lineup. I need you here. I want you in the clubhouse. So at first I was wondering, like, are they working together and doing some type of mind trick?
It seemed like that.
But I actually think Al genuinely wants him here.
I think Oscar does too. It's Charlie that does it.
And that's the problem. But the thing is with Mike, sorry, I'm just checking your comments. But with Mike, this would be so hard, because when you feel like you're not wanted.
Exactly.
Like, why would you want to stay?
That seed again.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're like, instead of them saying, hey, we appreciate you, this is what it, Oscar kind of does break it down, like, this is kind of what it is. I even wrote it down. He even tells them basically, like, it'd be easier if you just left. Right. And it's like,
and Zia, what Zia's saying is similar to what you were saying. You were saying it's not even Oscar. Oscar wants
it's Charlie.
him here, but Charlie doesn't see the real baseball aspect and the culture aspect of this team, and how much of a leader he is. And that's what Zia's saying too. Similar to presidents in real organizations, they don't know as much about baseball as the players themselves, the managers.
They don't spend time. He's not spending time trying to figure it out either.
Right.
And he's just kind of worried about the money. So he sees a new catcher coming in. He's like, this person will bring in money. Mike's getting old. Mm-hmm. And it's like, but it's more to the team than just bringing in money. And that's kind of what bothers me about Charlie this entire episode. So then we get a surprise visit from a familiar face.
I know.
Willie. Hashtag, here's Willie.
Well, it's so funny, because I was like, how did Willie get down there? Because the security in baseball is so hard. I'm like, who let him all the way down to talk to the security guard?
That's what I was thinking. Without, like, Jenny knowing, and without Amelia knowing.
Because how many people
could just
probably
say, I'm Jenny's brother.
would try to do that? You know what I mean? So it's just like, Willie, I don't know how you pulled this off, but good job.
Obviously some kind of scammer.
Well, for sure, yeah. I mean, I had no idea.
It made me really sad. He had the flashback, and we see Willie with this, like, big bruise on his face and this little Band-Aid, which I'm like, what is the Band-Aid doing? And which we find out later, he's in the same hotel that Jenny's in.
Right.
And he wants to be there. I think it's nice that he wants to be there and support Jenny, but now I kind of feel like he might have an ulterior motive.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like Amelia always picks up on that.
She does.
And then, Willie's like, I need some money. I owe some money. I'm in debt. It's, $20,000. And Amelia, trying to have Jenny's best interest in mind, writes him a check, gives him the check, and it's like, okay, get out of here. Like, if you want what's best for Jenny, you're not going to distract her before this game.
That was such a big part for me. And I don't know if the writers of the show did this on purpose, but I've been, like, mad at Amelia. Like, I have not been feeling her lately. I'm like, I don't like this lady. I don't know what she's up to. And when they showed that moment, my whole opinion on her changed, because I'm like,
she cares.
Yeah, she really does care about Ginny. And I know that at some point you have to tell Ginny, because this is her brother. Like, this is one of her only family members. You have to tell her, but she literally helped. She helped him out of a big bind that
$20,000. $20,000. Amelia, write me a check.
Yeah.
Okay.
Seriously.
And
yeah,
I think that's where Amelia slacks, is that she always has Ginny's best interest in mind, but then she doesn't talk to Ginny about it. Mm-hmm. She kind of just does things and then kind of sweeps it under the rug, and it's like, oh, Ginny won't find out about it.
And at the same time, I still, like, agree with the things that she does, because later she explains that, that you're just under a lot of pressure and there's a lot going on, and if I would have told you, things wouldn't have gone well.
Right.
And I agree with her.
Right.
So it's so tough, to be in that position.
And Willie just seems really sketch. I mean, when we first saw Willie again in Ginny's life, I was like, oh, her big brother. And now it makes sense why maybe he's estranged from his mother as well. Maybe
Right.
that. Remember, we kept asking like, where is Willie? Well,
Right.
now we see he was caught up in something, and he's like changing his phone number, and and then somehow he shows up at this game because he finally got away from work.
Right.
And it's kind of like, well, what were you doing? You know, like your restaurant job wasn't taking up that much of your
Right.
time.
That's what I'm wondering. And one of our viewers, Ariande, I'm sorry, I really don't know how to say your name. Ariande.
I'm still kind of annoyed
says with Amelia.
her personality is just seriously rubbing me the wrong way. I get it. I think you know her personality does rub you the wrong way, but she's just a force to be reckoned with. I feel like the title Immovable Object.
Right.
When she has someone that she cares about in her best interest, she doesn't want anybody messing with that. And for me, at first, I thought for Amelia it was like money and opportunity because her old job was so terrible. But I mean, Jenny's made a lot of mistakes, and every single time Amelia's been there to kind of pull Jenny out of the grave. And I feel like she honestly does have Jenny's best interest in mind. I just think she needs to be more communicative with Jenny about, you know, different things that are going on in her life.
I definitely feel the same way, though. I was really getting frustrated with Amelia until I saw that with Willie. But something Zia brings up that's really good is that, you know, his opportunity with Ginny might have been his only option for the straight and narrow. And like she's saying, he screwed up everywhere else, but he sacrificed so much to put Ginny in a better position. And that's really important.
It is.
And that's something that comes up later.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Oh, it's pronounced Ariadne. Did I say that right?
Riadne.
Riadne.
Hey, Riadne.
And then we have Oscar, who says, I'm totally lost. I thought Mike was one of the main faces of the organization. He is.
Right.
I don't know why Charlie is willing to kick him out. I thought it'd be a hard trade, even though he is old to them. I think for Charlie, he's looking at Mike as he's getting old. He's injured.
We have this new catcher.
Who's young, who can be taught everything Mike did, and who can bring in more money. And you know, if Mike can't play, we have somebody else who can. And for Charlie, we know that it's not about, you know, baseball. It's about money. It's about getting every time they have a game. It's like, how many seats are filled in this arena right now? And it's like, he's not like, you know, how's the team? How's everybody feeling? How's Ginny? She's going up to, you know, it's kind of just like, well, how many seats are filled?
Right.
Oscar Zia says Oscar because Charlie has no clue what he's doing. He doesn't. And he's just focused on winning despite it being counterproductive to their success. Ooh. All right, let's move forward.
Flashback
to, we talked about that. Oh, so we see Blip talking to Lawson because we know Lawson's really, what he says is pissy this episode, which is understandable. And Blip pulls out this box from his locker, and we don't know what it is. And he's like, come on, it's time. Which we find out about later is some weird kangaroo court judgy, where Mike Lawson's the judge type deal, which brings the team together because Blip feels like there's kind of no team spirit. Everyone's on their phones. Everyone's like kind of doing their own thing. No one's really paying attention and getting prepped for the game to help them get to the wild card, which is what they should be focused on. Let's see. Oh, I thought it was interesting when Mike leaves because he gets frustrated again, and Oscar sees him, and Oscar and Al are talking, and then, you know, Oscar brings Mike into the room, and they have their discussion, and Oscar's basically saying, you know, I want you to stay, or I want, you know, what do you want to do, basically, and Al's like, I want you to stay, and Mike Lawson asks Oscar who called who.
Right.
And it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, Oscar's pretty honest. He's like, you know, we're under new management. It's Charlie. He's kind of making all these new moves to better the team, and in all honesty, Oscar was kind of putting Mike out there,
right,
to see. He was kind of putting his feelers out there to see who was interested. Then we go to the Kangaroo Court, which is, I guess, a tradition at for the Padres, and it's judgment time. So Mike Lawson's calling everybody out, and it's kind of fun. Everyone's laughing, everyone's playing in, and we get to Ginny and a missed call, and they kind of go at it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so tough because I keep thinking about Mike, and I'm like, I can't imagine being in his position.
Every single time.
Yeah, and so they're doing this fun thing, and they're just joking around, and this is supposed to be fun, and this is something baseball teams do, and, you know, they donate the money to charity, and they're just, you know, he's so frustrated with what's going on and so upset inside about what's going on that he just takes it way too far and starts fighting with her.
Jenny was kind of nitpicking.
Yeah.
She was like, no, actually, there was a hit and run sign and you missed it.
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. So she was calling, you know, people out to kind of like support her side of things. And
then that's when Jenny calls out, what was his name? I always forget his name.
Omar.
Yes, calls out Omar, who agrees with her and makes Mike look like he doesn't know what he's doing, and that's what kind of sends him overboard. Like, you know, I do all this for the team, blah, blah, blah. He kind of goes on his rant, and it's like... And then, you know, Jenny realizes, like, okay, maybe this isn't the time or place to call him out when, you know... Obviously, it's funny because, like, whenever something happens to a player, all the other players seem to know.
Yeah.
Like, Jenny's like, look, I know, blah, 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 it's happening to you, and I understand. And Mike's like, how do you understand? Like, you just started playing 3 months ago. You don't understand. Mm-hmm. And I feel like for him, it's like Jenny, not to say Jenny has nothing to lose, but like she hasn't been in the league that long.
Right.
She kind of has a family. She's young, so that like having a husband and kids and, you know, doesn't really affect her right now, or like having a life after baseball. She's just getting started.
Right.
And for Mike, he's coming to like, he's on the precipice of the end of his career. Mm-hmm. So, you know, kind of like, how dare you tell me, like, I know what you're going through. No, you don't.
Right.
What are they talking about?
And what Zia's saying is the same thing. She's like, even though Ginny's nitpicking, Mike would have bantered with her if he wasn't under the pressure. And I agree, because that's like their relationship.
But, I know, he's been getting really sensitive when it comes to Ginny lately.
But I totally get it.
He's been getting really sensitive about Jenny. So then Omar comes back and tells Blip and Mike, just kidding, I did not see a hit and run sign. I just said that because I got nervous around Jenny because she looks like a supermodel.
Yeah, I did not see this coming at all.
I didn't either.
But I'm struggling because I'm so excited about it because I love Omar. I think he's the cutest thing, and he's really into Ginny. Like, he's like, you don't understand. I can't think when I'm around her. She's beautiful. And he's going on and on about her. And I really think he genuinely likes her. But at the same time, I've always wanted her and Lawson to get together. So I'm kind of torn right now.
I don't want to do that. So Omar basically spills the beans, and he tells Blip and Mike, I kind of got a thing for Ginny Baker. Yeah. And, you know, they go into and they talk about it. And Mike's kind of like, no, you don't. You don't know anything. He kind of gets defensive. Like, you don't know anything about her. Yeah. Do you know that she hums Katy Perry off tune? Like, you know, like, do you know, like, just all these random facts about Jenny. And it kind of, and then, like, Omar and Blip kind of look at him like, oh. And then Blip was like, that's what she's humming? And he's like, well, yeah. And everyone, like, kind of looks at Mike, and he leaves really awkwardly. And it's like, okay, so those, you know, our feelings about him kind of having a thing for Jenny is true. Mm-hmm. It's not just, you know, big brother looking out for you kind of thing. It's like, I notice the small things because I care. Right. Tear. Hashtag I love you, Mike Lawson. What do you think about that? What do you think about kind of Mike's coming to a lot of realization this episode?
He really is. And I feel like the whole season has been leading up to this and has been like foreshadowing this. Like, we see him go through so much in his personal life, and he's alone, and he struggles with, like, do I call Ginny right now? And then he has the thing with Amelia. So I'm not surprised this is where we're at, because I feel like the entire, you know, season has been leading up to this. But this episode, he's really dealing with a lot. Like, it's all of a sudden hitting him. Like, we are, as an outsider watching it, we're like, okay, we see this happening, but kind of, you know, when you're going through it yourself, not that I've gone through being a professional baseball player.
Tell us about it, Jessie.
Yeah. When you're going through stuff like that, you kind of just push it off and you just ignore it, and you don't, you think nothing of it. But, like, we're watching it happen and we see it, and, you know, it's finally all getting to him.
It is.
And this is like, you know how when you get to your breaking point and you're just done? I feel like that he's like almost to his breaking point.
You're like ticking, and then you're eventually just gonna blow. speaking of feelings and sneaking around, there's this random lady that keeps talking to Oscar. They keep meeting in private and kind of kissy touchy, and my first thought is that it's Charlie's wife, because she says he doesn't even know. And I'm like, oh my gosh, is Oscar messing around with Charlie's wife?
So it's so funny that you say that, because I definitely thought it was somebody's wife, because she's like going towards the family room, and she comes out and we can see they're sneaking around, and I didn't know whose wife it was, and so I started like thinking, whose wife could this be?
Did you think it was Charlie's wife?
I didn't know what to think, because I really thought it was a player, but then I was like, what player would it be?
Right.
Because all the players that we know, it couldn't be them.
Unless it's some player that we've never seen, which wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah. So then I'm like, well, it's not the coach's wife. So I'm like, it's got to be Charlie's wife.
Right.
Or maybe, like, I don't know who, somebody else's, I didn't know who it was, but I thought it was a player or somebody in management's wife. So I was really scared.
And then we find out that it's Al's daughter.
I know.
And it makes sense, because remember earlier in the episode when Oscar's talking to Al, he says, you stopped inviting me to family dinners. Do you remember when he said that?
Yes.
And he's like, oh, that's when his wife passed. And he's like, no, but you were the one that cooked.
Right.
So maybe Al has an idea, and that's why he stopped inviting Oscar to family dinners.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. So when you just were saying that, I was thinking maybe his daughter didn't want it to be awkward, so she told him not to invite him. But maybe Al knows, because Al is so smart.
And he's protective. And remember how he thinks of Jenny like his daughter? Now, remember he made the reference about his daughter?
Yeah.
Well, now we finally meet her.
Right.
And it's like...
Well, as soon as she said, I have patients to see or something, she made me feel like she was a doctor. I was like, oh my God, it's Al's daughter. Because remember, he said, my daughter, he talked about her. She's one of the smartest people I know. She's also beautiful.
Yes.
She's a doctor.
Yes.
I was like, shit.
So that makes sense as to why Al wouldn't want Oscar around anymore, because maybe he doesn't want Oscar with his daughter.
Right.
Maybe they have some history and like they're sneaking around. So, I mean, something's up.
Yeah.
Also, speaking of something up, Will is talking to Evelyn about, opening up a restaurant in San Diego, and all of a sudden he has all this money, and Amelia's kind of listening like, didn't I just get you out of a bunch of trouble back in Charlotte, and now you're here trying to run the same game?
Right.
And she basically calls him out on it, like, oh, really? So I know she has Elliot do some more research, and we find out that debt collectors are after him. He's filed for bankruptcy, and Amelia calls him out on it, like, oh, how are you going to open up a restaurant when, you don't really have any money? She doesn't necessarily say that, but, and then, Willie alludes to the fact that he can have a personal investor, which, hint, hint, his sister Jenny.
Right.
And I just feel like, I don't know. I want to feel like Will is not trying to take advantage of his sister's success. But at the same time, Will doesn't really have anything either. He's always been there to support Jenny. Like, wouldn't it be reciprocity for her to support him in his dream?
Yeah.
Jess.
I'm like, so first, I mean, I think and Willie's up to something outside of just being in debt from all of his businesses. Like, something else is going on. Like, I'm thinking he's into, like, some illegal shit, right? Like, is that, I mean, am I on the right, like,
I think so, because how do you get $20,000, or I don't know. I don't know if he's
like,
in something
eye?
illegal, or if he's borrowing money from people to try to do things that he wants to do and then not paying people back. Like, if he's trying to open up a restaurant in Charlotte, he's like, just give me $20,000. I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up this restaurant. It's going to bring all this money, and I'll pay you back. Then it doesn't happen. And then,
but like, why did he have the black eye? So that's why I'm thinking, like, he's into some shit something that dark. We don't know about.
Right.
But it's hard. I'm having mixed opinions on Willie right now, because we see, just like we talked, he gave up just like Zia said, he gave up so much for Ginny, because that could have been like his straight and narrow, like he could have went down that road.
Right.
But now he's coming to her and saying, I need you to be part of this with me. I need you to be an investor for me.
Well, he texts her and says SOS right after she has her blow up with Mike, kind of puts her on the spot.
Right.
And Amelia looks at Jenny like, you know, and Jenny already knows what's up. And she's like, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. Let me know. You know, then they walk back because, you know, she starts getting warmed up. And she tells Willie, like, you know, I'd do anything for you, but don't ever put me on the spot.
Right. And that's what Zia's just saying, too.
Yeah.
Same
And
thing.
I feel like I feel like Willie should know that Jenny will always have his back, that he wouldn't need to put her on the spot like that. Like, are you scared of Amelia? Are you afraid Amelia's going to tell Jenny no? Like, if Jenny wants to do something, we found out that she's going to do it.
Right.
Especially when it comes to her family, and especially when it comes to Willie.
Right.
But I don't feel like what Willie... I don't know. I don't feel like Willie's idea is genuine. I don't feel like he's coming at it as, you're my sister. Like, this is something I really want to do. Can you please help me? It's kind of like, you're my sister. You have money. Help me.
Right.
And it's like...
And I agree. And he's not telling us what happened. So I think Amelia knows more than we all know. And so
Yeah.
Amelia's like, don't put her in that spot because there's something else going on, and this could be really bad for Jenny.
And that's why Amelia doesn't want Jenny to do it, because if Jenny's name's on this and it's you know, she's backing it, and then some dark stuff comes out about Willie, it's gonna fall back on Jenny.
Right.
And
like, what if he's selling drugs out of this restaurant or whatever it is he's doing, and then it's her name's linked to it because he's into some shit. I just don't know what it is, and I hope we find it out. But like, no one just, like, a businessman, I don't think would just punch you in the face. Especially
because he has so much unfinished business in Charlotte. So why do you have debt collectors calling you? Why are you, you know, why do you have this negative past that you haven't really dealt with, and now you're all of a sudden here in San Diego, all the way across the country? Like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know, or it just seems really, really suspect to me. And I feel like if he does have Jenny's best interest in mind, why are you doing this at a game?
Yeah.
Why didn't you wait till after?
Of a game?
I mean, maybe that's what he wanted to talk to her with, you know, at dinner. But now you know, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Willie right now. I guess we were all so pumped because
I know, because we loved Willie.
And now I want to rewatch that episode with her and Willie and see if I, you know, there's
anything,
like anything different about him. Because now that we have this planet, it's like, well, what else?
Right.
Let's see. Oh, so speaking of that, you know, then Will says, you know, Amelia still hasn't forgiven me about June, and Jenny's like, what are you talking about? And then I mean, we don't know what was said, but Willie and Jenny had this conversation. Jenny looks for Amelia, goes, you lied to me. Why didn't you tell me? And Amelia's like, look, I have your best interest in mind. I don't want you to get distracted. And, you know, excuse me. And Jenny's like, you know, you have to tell me these things. And she says, he chose you. I didn't choose you.
Right.
And, you know, Amelia's like, well, that's, you know, basically saying that's the best decision he ever made for you.
Right. And then they just kind of
go their separate ways.
Yeah. So when she said that, I think she was right.
Well, yeah.
And
totally right.
I think when Jenny heard that, Jenny was coming to a realization that she was right as well, which is really sad.
And when it's your sibling, you never want to think of them doing wrong or doing bad. And if they are, your first innate reaction is to help them. You know, like, it's like, well, what do I need to do?
Right.
What do you need me to do? And that's kind of what Jenny's doing. Like, whatever you need me to do, I'll do it.
Right. Exactly.
But at the same time, you need to be like, okay, well, what are you doing? Like, what happened here? What did you do? I can't help you if, you know, you're into some shady shit that's gonna bring me down.
Right. But and I think she knows, I mean, obviously she knows something's up, but I think she knows, she has an idea that some shady shit's going on, because did you see the way that she, like, turned around and looked back at him at the beginning when he first saw her and she said take him to the family room? He left and she just kind of looked back and she's...
Yeah, she had that look like, I know something's wrong, but you're my brother.
Yeah, exactly. She acted like nothing was wrong at all. She was so happy to see him.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel like, and actually I was gonna say I don't know why she didn't question him, but I know why she didn't, because she's in game mode.
Right.
But it's just, poor Jenny's always like, it's always something. I feel like we say this every week. It's always something. If it's not like,
it can't just be that she's the first female in baseball.
She's not just doing
that her mom is now with this guy.
Her dad's passed away. Her brother's into some shady shit.
Amelia was dating one of her best friends on the team
that she's in love with.
Yeah.
Naked pictures are leaked.
Yeah,
Like,
she lost her Nike deal. Like
her best friend's dad killed her dad. Like, damn.
I know.
Worst like situation ever goes to Jenny, but she's overcome it. That's something I love about Jenny is like she's that diamond in the rough. Mm-hmm. And I'm surprised they haven't had an episode called Diamond in the Rough. You can take that, Fox. And, you know, basically Amelia doesn't want Willie to capitalize on Jenny's career. Mm-hmm. And I feel like although Amelia has Jenny's best interest in mind, she has to let Jenny make her own decisions. I don't know how to say that. She has to let Jenny make her own decisions, but also keep Jenny's brand in mind.
Right.
You know, we can't have Jenny just kind of do whatever she wants because she doesn't know, you know, I don't think she knows the power she has. Mm-hmm. So she has to be very careful with what she does, what she says, who she's with. Right. And I don't think she realizes that. And she doesn't want that pressure, that attention, but it's like, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
So then, again, Charlie wants to go down and yell at Russell. And Oscar takes him for a bit of a turn. Mm-hmm. And they're in the batting cage. Taking some swings, and it's nice because I feel like Oscar's trying to call Charlie out.
Yeah.
Do you get the same kind of feeling? Like,
yeah, I was so relieved that he finally was standing up to him because we don't know because I actually believe that Oscar was trying to get rid of him, but like we do know that like Oscar wants what's best for this team too, and him and Al are really close, and Al wants Mike here.
Obviously, really close. I mean,
yeah, exactly. They're about to be like related at this point. No, but we know from the very beginning Oscar didn't want to do this.
Right.
On the day where they were making all the trades, he, you know, made it known that he didn't want to do this, but Charlie didn't give him much of a choice. So he's been trying to plant the seed in Mike's mind, and it's just not going anywhere. And he's hearing what Al's saying, and it's all finally sitting with him. So to see him stand up to Charlie, I mean, he knows this team better than Charlie does.
Exactly. I mean, at one point you're trying to get rid of Al, you know, and it's like these people are the San Diego Padres. Right. These people you're trying to remove, these are the Padres. Mm-hmm. Granted, it happens in every team. You know, you trade, you bring in new people, but I feel like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
You know, if it was Mike was out a lot and he was very inconsistent, and then it's like, okay, like you got to go.
Right.
But as of right now, like he's still pushing.
Right.
He doesn't need to be traded at the moment, but you've already brought this new catcher on, so now you kind of have to.
Right.
You can't have two.
Right.
Especially when someone's been in the team for 15 years, and it's kind of frustrating for me because it's like, then we see Charlie doesn't even know how to hit a damn ball. It's like, what are you doing? And Oscar's like, why baseball? And for him, it's all statistics. It's all math, and it's like there's more to baseball than just statistics and math.
Right.
And sometimes statistics can be wrong.
Yeah.
So
I just again the dynamic of the team and him being such an integral part of this team and being the leader and being the center and core of this team.
It's intense.
It's so tough.
It's intense. So then they have another kangaroo court. Jenny kind of apologizes for calling Mike out. We find out that Mike actually there was no hit and run sign, and Mike was right. Everyone's getting pumped up for the team. Mike goes and talks to Jenny, and she starts humming the Katy Perry Fireworks off key, and you kind of see him like his eyes get all bubbly and cute.
I know he was looking at her like, I don't know, but I was like, look,
and then the scene ends with Mike. It's such an like a very powerful scene. It ends with Mike looking at his teammates going onto the field, and he tells Oscar, Chicago.
Yeah.
Boom, baby.
I know. Don't leave, Mike.
Don't leave us, Mike. What a crazy episode. I think that we hit
so
everything.
Much.
If you notice something we didn't hit, please feel free to comment us. We will talk about, we're going to talk about it on the page. So please feel free to comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Let us know what your thoughts are about the episode. If we missed something or if you want to elaborate on something, please feel free to comment. We have a little bit of news and gossip for you.
AFTERBUZZ TV News.
So I don't know if you noticed our cool baseball gear. I'm gonna model it for you a little bit here. So we got some pretty cool baseball swag from Baseballism. If you want some cool swag, you can rock it out too. Feel free to follow them on their social media at Baseballism. That's BASEBALLISM. Check out all their cool baseball swag, or visit their website www.baseballism.com to purchase some of your own. And also, we're going to do a contest since we finally see that Ginny and Mike are becoming a couple, or becoming a something. Please tweet us your favorite Ginny and Mike picture of them together or side by side. Next week we'll pick, not next week, December 1st, we'll pick our favorite photo and we'll show it on the show under News and Gossip, and the winner will get a cool swag item from Baseballism. So tweet us. Again, my Twitter is Ashleigh Morghan, ASHLEIGHMORGHAN.
And my Twitter is Athletic, ATHLETCHIC.
You can also tweet Sheldon or Janisha. Yeah, so really quick, we're going to go through some predictions because we got to wrap it up. So I think Mike is definitely leaving. Ginny and Mike have something going on. We're going to find out what Willie's been up to.
I know.
And yeah, it's going to be an intense episode December 1st.
Oh, yeah. So we'll see you December 1st.
Yep, happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you December 1st.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye, guys.
See you guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.